Today, I am recording a short instructional video on how to fix formatting errors in Microsoft Word. So let's get started. This is my template that I have for my English 101 students. I have a different version for English 102 students that's similar. But this is just a basic introduction into how to write a research essay. And you can see that the template has quite a bit of stuff already centered on the first page. We have repeat your title here. Note that in updated APA 7th edition, there is no running head. Numbers are kind of optional right now. I am recording this in April of 2025. I prefer that my students leave the numbers in there because I don't want to have to do the math. But things that you need to look for. You can see here that this is the way this is formatted. There are not any extra spaces here. However, this looks really messy. So first thing we need to do is these, not the title, should be in bold. Then we want to highlight this paragraph and make sure that it is completely justified. And then we're going to go through and do that with the other paragraphs. Keep in mind that your font needs to be Times New Roman, Calibri, or Arial, and always in size 12. This is so it is accessibility compliant. I have periodic migraines. I need to use a screen reader sometimes. So you see how that tightened that up really well. And let's make this in bold. Let's make sure this one is completely justified. You see how that looks so much neater, right? Now, as we get to this one, we can't tell if Word has added extra spaces between the subtitle section and the paragraph. So we want to double check that. You want to highlight and go up here to format, select paragraph, and then make sure you check this box. It used to be on by default. It no longer is. So we check the box. It says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style, and we click OK. And then we know that whatever that you write as a student up here, there's not going to be an extra space stuck in here. Hopefully, knock on wood. Okay, we need to tighten up that one. And then we need to put that in bold. I wanted to record, I was going over some edits with some other ones. And let's make sure that this also does not. See here, you can't tell. You need to make sure that this minus mark is changed to a check mark. And then how do you double check and make sure that that's actually, you need to hit backspace and then make sure, and look at that. It says it's centered, but it's not. So we want to get this where we can kind of see here. And we want to hit the tab until we can visually see that it's centered. Then we want to click here, make sure that is still in the same font, because sometimes when you do that, Word will change it to Calibri size 11. And then you have to fix that. All right. Now, your references, we need to make sure these are at the top, right? So yep, that is at the top. Make sure that that is centered, right? And then here's another place where you need to look to make sure that it doesn't add an extra space between your references. So you need to highlight that and go up here and click on paragraph and make sure that that is on, just to make sure. That way, when you start to type into this template, you are going to be able to see that, that should keep the formatting intact. Now, I'm going to pause the recording for a second and pull up one of the ones for English 102, and we'll take a look at that also. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is my literature review template for English 102, which is a deeper dive than English 101. And we can see right away that the font is not correct. When we click down here, what is this? A screen reader cannot read this font. So the first thing we want to do is go to select all, change that. I just change it to Times New Roman because it's easier. And there we go. Okay. So I usually have students do the literature review before they do a research essay. And this one is for English 102. And it is, like I said, it's a little bit of a deeper dive. The templates look similar, but we can see right here that there's extra space. So we need to go up here and take that out. And you can see that. Now, is this one? No, it's not. So let's fix that there. There you can see really well that it is actually not got the extra space in between. Does this one? It's hard to tell because of the way the sentences end. So let's go up again, and it has that minus mark. It does look like it adjusted a little bit, but let's make sure and hit that back button. And then hit the tab. And get that adjusted here. That's the one thing I don't like about Word, is it doesn't always recognize where the middle of the page is. You can see opinion is off kilter. So we want to fix that. Let's move that there. And let's make sure that is in bold. Again, here, we can't tell. Is that actually got those extra lines removed or not? So that is not checked. Let's make sure we've got that. Now, that is dramatically showing how there was several extra lines, right? Because all of a sudden that is way up there. And we want to make sure this is here and here. A literature review does not have a separately defined conclusion. That's one of the primary differences between it and a reference page. Now, because we changed the font and we took those extra spaces now, all of a sudden the references is way up on the next page. So we need to hit the space bar or hit enter until we get, come on, bold. Thank you. Until we get there. Right? And this is incorrect. So titles of books are in italics. And then journal titles are no longer in quotation marks. So I need to add that. And the name of the journal goes in italics. So you go up here and click the I. Actually had to go over this with a student today. And that looks pretty well done. Now, we can go up here and click save, but is that actually going to save it? Sometimes it doesn't. And I have had that experience in my own graduate level courses. So on your keyboard, and I don't really have a way to show you this right now. If you are on a Mac, you push Command, then Shift, then S. If you are on a computer that has a Windows operating system, it's Control, then S, then, sorry, on a Windows operating system, Control, Shift, and S. Now, watch up here where it says File when I do the keyboard save shortcut. You see it flickered. No, sorry, I hit it twice. Command, Shift, S. Sorry. I keep hitting the S twice with my fingernail. Anyway, but it flickers when you do that. The keyboard shortcut absolutely saves your document. And for those of you who are working in Office 365 in your web browser, you have to make sure you are logged in with your student email, not your personal one, and that you have autosave on, or you run the risk of Word uploading a blank document in Canvas. And that is the end of that presentation for today. Thank you for watching.